Hello, Alex Lafkus here. Getting ready to do a little wet skunk fishing tomorrow. It's probably one of the most underrated techniques in the summer, just for volume and good fish. What a wet skunk is basically a bitch creek with, no weight, just double wrapped chenille body, calf tail. Here you can see a little guy. That's the old school black and white. And I tie him a little bit bigger, just put a little shank with a little wiggle tail off. That one had a hook, cut the hook off. No need for two hooks on a fly that size. Not doing this. All you're going to do is harpoon a bunch of little ones that don't really need it. There's basically a lot of the three colors I run. Sometimes the tan. Old school's the black and white. Catches a lot of fish. The biggest issue people have throwing the wet skunk is they typically they strip it more than they should. The best presentation with a wet skunk is to cast it out on a tight line, let it land. Small pockets I like the most. I don't really like to present big open areas with it as much. Small pockets tight to the bank, fly hits there, wiggle the rod tip a little, get the rubber legs to kick, and pause. And you let it hang, let it hang, let it hang. Twitch, let it kick those legs a few more times, let it pause, let it pause. 95% of your bites are going to come on that stall when that fly is just sitting there. So you're just kind of getting that reaction bite by drawing them with those rubber legs, kicking around, letting it hang in their face for a long period of time, and then they'll come grab it. A lot of times in the summer, you see them that they don't really want to chase as much on the streamer, and that wet skunk is really an effective way to just kind of get an aggressive streamer bite with a little different presentation. I'm going to be fishing it on a 6-weight floating line with a 9-foot 1X leader. I'll cut a foot off, and I typically do that because these leaders are paid, when they're produced, they're 60% butt section, 40% tippet. So if you go to 7.5 footer, you're still at the 60-40 ratio, which I don't really want for this. I want more butt section into the tippet, just so I'm getting it to kick over better with a little heavier fly. You're not throwing a dry here. So whatever. I do tie these on light wire, basically dry fly hooks. It's a real easy lift to set the hook. It's more of a dry fly hook set. So a lighter wire hook helps penetrate. It's a very effective technique. I think it's one of the ones that people fish the least. And when they do fish it, a lot of times they fish it incorrectly. So I have a lot of fun doing this. We're going to go get them tomorrow. We're going to play with it a little bit. It's that time of year where your volume usually stays good, and whether or not you see a good fish or two, that's kind of a day-to-day thing. So we'll go out and give it a shot tomorrow. And right now we are running the wet skunk. It is rubber legs and chenille. A little different presentation. The key with the wet skunk is we're fishing on a floating line, and a lot of the action just comes from wiggling the rod tip. The fly that you let just kind of hang in their face, and you get the bite when it stalls. Most people fish this completely incorrectly. They want to strip it more like a streamer, and it's the pause that gets these fish to trigger, the big stall. The nice thing about the wet skunk is it fishes very good in slow water. It'll just hang in those little pockets of grass where those fish might be hiding. Usually a pretty devastating technique. But you notice I'm just kind of wiggling the rod tip to get the rubber legs moved, then strip in the slack. And you will see them eat it a lot of times. So it's extremely visual, which makes it a lot of fun to fish. I tie them on dry fly hooks because you're going to be setting the hook more like a dry fly bite, so you don't want anything too heavy a gauge. You'll end up in a little better position. You'll hook more fish. And you're fishing it a lot on 1 and 2X, so you're not putting the screws to them as much. You can't really. Yeah, and then I'm going to trench, I never get anybody. Oh, you little monster.
Right there.
Right in the seam. Imagine that. Right in the seam.
Plowing over to get over there.
Oh,
That log way back up.
I know, it's awesome. And I tell clients about it. And they're like, huh?
You're not getting a client to cast it.
No.
Very few.
Even good ones that can do it. They're like, what? Oh, that one. That. That's one thing people don't do either, is like when you get in the oh, there was a little bite.
Yeah.
When you get in the real estate, don't set the hook. Oh, another one. Just pull nice and easy. A lot of times your fly will just come out. If you jerk, you're just setting the hook and tying things tighter. Oh no, failure. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh.
No reward for Al.
No. 0. See, this fish is really nice in these weedier flats too, where you're not going to be able to pull a streamer through. And you just pick at all the little pockets in the weeds with it. Oh, only 3 moved off that log, no one had. Shocking, huh? There's a little one on it. They're going on it. I don't know. That's one thing if you're fishing docks, a lot of times your best shot is right at the dock and let it fall in. People try to, you know, hit perfectly on the edge, just aim for the flat surface on it and let it fall. Okay. Yeah, because it's only 2 or 3
There goes
minutes.
a 14-incher.
Well,
Sitting right up in the.
Dude, it feels like, I don't know if it was just spot or if, had it. Or if, since that rain started, they are biting a little better. I do see that with the wet fly deal. Once that surface starts getting busted off and you start getting a little rain, it's like, yeah, they're moving now. Moving it right into a wood pile. Oh, wow. I couldn't have made that anyway. I don't That's a great fly line right there, that is. That's real poor inch. Go on the road to the year mark. I think it's not absolutely They eat black down there too.
They are these black streamers.
Yeah.
He wanted it.
Blocking towards it. Oh,
Yeah, I saw that one following it, tracking it.
Definitely a fun technique. I do say I had a lot of fun fishing this stuff. Oh, little monster. Oh, that's a little better.
Yeah.
They were sitting on the point of that island. Woo. They're coming now. Once that rain started, man. Woo. I don't know. I've seen probably 10 fish in that last 100 yards.
Yeah, I know. Got 'em moving.
Yep. Ooh. Yeah. Can't do much better. Ooh, there you go. That's that one. Bad little fish. I was gonna say that don't seem right that I couldn't get one out of that spot. Summer, Michigan trout. What are you gonna do? Wet Skunk eater. Decent little fish. Not bad.
Oh, you don't.
You go. Wet Skunk eater. That's fun. Well, we had a fun morning throwing the wet skunks. You know, here's that little bigger one that was working pretty good. Hopefully you got a chance to learn something, maybe picked up a little different technique to try. It's a lot of fun, especially in low water, warm water, when you can just twitch them and trigger that bite. I can't guess how many fish we moved. It seemed like it was every other cast for a minute, especially during when the rain was in. Um, Very effective way to fish, that most people aren't doing. So taking that and doing it in a lot of different rivers, it'll probably show you some fish you're not used to seeing, and fish that aren't used to seeing the presentation. Hopefully you can take away something from it and try something new next time out. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and feel free to comment with any other things you'd like us to touch on in any of the videos upcoming. Thanks.